What is up, everybody? This is the week 5 edition of the Daily Fantasy Insiders NFL DFS show, and I am Soccer Dave, David Kitchen, joining me, Davis Mattek, and a guy that is back on the show, that was on the show last year and the year before that. You might know him as Two Hats One Mike on Twitter. You might also know him as Leone on the daily fantasy sites. And on this site, we just call him Michael. So, Michael from Daily Roto, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I'll do my best to fill in for JJ Zachariason and not advise people to play Rob Gronkowski, and we'll see how it
Zachariason.
goes.
Come on.
Zacharias.
Come on. Come on. Everyone knows his
Come
name.
on, Mike.
Come on. Come on.
You know my
man.
last name's not Leone.
I liked how
It's Leonum.
you guys set up this whole fake, nice talk before the show, and then bam, we didn't get 30 seconds in without the Leone voice.
No, we went straight to the Leone voice.
um, Mike, you obviously have been doing very well since we last talked in the past year playing daily fantasy, yet still your room is still very purple. Care to comment on that?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Fair enough. All right, well, let's get into this week. We have tonight's game is Indy at Houston. Andrew Luck's not going to be playing. Matt Hasselbeck is going to be playing. But as far as like the game script, it's like if you're playing Thursday night games, are we playing somebody from these games, or are we avoiding hoping to basically cash in on people playing tonight?
I'm pretty big on
Hopkins
Arian
might get.
Foster. I
Go
think
ahead
on
on Foster.
DraftKings for 7K. Sorry, Davis, do you want to go first? I got
No,
excited.
you go on.
My first show back. No, I think Foster's going to have a big workload. It's a good game script for him. He didn't play much on Sunday because it was a huge blowout, like after the first quarter, and he wasn't supposed to play a lot anyways. I think they've been saving him for this game, divisional game. And then with Texans, I think the line's up to 4.5 with Luck out. I see him doing a lot of work, and to me, he's pretty close to the Jamal Charles type level, except you're going to save about $800 on both FanDuel and DraftKings.
Davis?
I mean, that's fine. Like I don't know. He's probably fine for like tournaments on Thursday, but the guy you want from this game is Hopkins with Vontae Davis out for the Colts, Nate Washington and Cecil Shorts out for the Texans. Hopkins, legitimately, real life, could have 30 targets tonight. That could happen. That could be a thing.
Yeah, Hopkins is awesome. I was kind of hoping we would get like either Luck in and Davis out, or Luck out, or no, the opposite. I didn't say Luck in and Davis out, or Luck out and Davis in, because then the game script would have made it real obvious which way to go between Foster and Hopkins. I think both are really good plays. If you're not on either of those guys tonight, it strikes me as a week to not even sign up for Thursday games. So I think there'd be a lot of risk in doing that and completely fading it, which we a lot of times like to do.
I don't think there's
I don't know.
I don't think there's a problem
I
with
was just
playing
gonna say.
tonight's games because I think that you know this game like has one of the lowest over unders. Like I just don't. I think you can create a decent lineup without exposing yourself to too much risk. Like even if Arian Foster has a good game, I still think that Bell and Jamal Charles are better options for this week. So the same with Hopkins. I think you can still find replacement level value there, and again, just the risk of especially if you're playing on DraftKings of not being able to late swap by locking those guys in might be too much. But then again, what do I know? All I know is Mike. We got luck out by having Davis in the show with us.
Yeah, we did. And if I had to pick between the two, I would go with Hopkins, especially on DraftKings. Hopkins on DraftKings is pretty sweet.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. Davis,
Yeah, no.
we're gonna.
Hop,
Nobody
Hopkins
on
is
it.
like top five fantasy asset this year.
Yeah. Um. So I don't have like the only concern I guess with Hopkins would be his quarterback throwing to him, and Hopkins has been getting a lot of his production and garbage time, and they're actually like favored to win. So
This whole game is
that
just going to be garbage, though.
yeah, swag. Davis yawning on the show, and we're like 5 minutes and 37 seconds in. Like
Dude, Thursday is the grind day for me, man. I like set my schedule up really terribly all week, so like all I do Thursday is I wake up at 8 o'clock and I do all the work I should have been doing all week.
That's funny because like
this
I
is
really thought you struck me as someone with good time management, like the way you handle your college
Yeah,
course. Like I don't know, that's just funny.
dude, think about this though. Think about this. Last year, not only was I procrastinating the same work I'm supposed to be doing this year, but I was also in college, dude. So just like think about like just like
Yeah.
wrap your mind around the irresponsibility that was going on in my life at this point last year.
I'm gonna.
I have tried to do that. I've tried to wrap my mind around your irresponsibility sometimes, and I just get lost. So, anyways, let's move on.
This makes you sad. Yeah, let's.
Let's move on to the Sunday games, the good games, and you've got some info right here of the Booby Dixon stuff. Like, is Carlos Williams definitely going to be out with a concussion protocol?
It sounded
And,
like that at Rex Ryan's press conference today. Um, he wasn't confirmed out, but he was sounding really doubtful. And then they were also saying that Dixon's got a calf problem and lacks explosiveness that he never really had to begin with. But
yeah, that was the thing. Is they said that he's not as explosive as he's been in the past, which like even since his days at Mississippi State, he's never been explosive.
so
Career
yeah,
-4
originally I was
yards per
like, if
carry.
Williams is out, I'm gonna play Dixon on FanDuel for 4,500. Have PPR site gets the goal line touches, but now with this news, I think he's a tournament option, but I'm not going to put him in cash on Thursday lock until we hear a little bit more. Sounds like Boom Heron, who they just signed this week, could be involved somewhat heavily. I
Yeah,
don't know.
he's not even in the player list.
Yeah, there might be a lot on Tyrod Taylor's shoulders, but that's the frustrating part is the Titans, by Football Outsiders DVOA, they're like second against the pass and dead last against the run. So it set up really nicely if Dixon was actually healthy, but alas, he's not.
And it's funny after 4 weeks that the Titans are second against the pass because the narrative before the season started was just how terrible they were against the pass, and they have done
Well,
decent. I
part
still think
part of it was they had that free game against Luck, who is dead last in the NFL in adjusted yards per attempt.
You
and
just
he didn't get
you
hurt.
gotta resist.
Couldn't resist at all. But you have I think Charles Clay though is an interesting option, at least on DK for his price, because like literally it's Tyrod and Charles Clay. There's nobody else
Well,
that's going to be doing anything.
I saw something about Charles Clay having an injury today too. It's just like unbelievable. But if
Okay.
Watkins is out, I'm with you. Clay had an insane amount of targets last week. He had a great DFS game, and that didn't even count a long touchdown he got called back on. And the Titans, as good as they are against the pass, I think the one position is they struggle
They're
against the
dead
run.
last. They're dead last in efficiency against the tight end, 104% worse than league average on
Yeah.
it, like in terms of efficiency.
Yeah, and that can be a little misleading sometimes, but still, when you add it all up, if Watkins is out, there's no run game. He's just gonna have to get fed the ball, assuming he's healthy. He was
Um,
limited with a calf injury today.
Mike, I'm going to be honest. It really bugs me that you can't say Titans right. Like there's no E, and it's not like you tighten a bolt.
Titans. Titans.
Titans. Titans.
Titans.
Ugh.
It is so bad. The what do you want to put on this game, Mike?
Oh, we gotta do something. I don't know, something embarrassing. The bunny suit.
Oh, yeah,
Not the bunny
it's
suit,
not like
something else.
it's not like either of us have much dignity left, so we might have to come up with something else. On the other side,
What did we bet on like
Let's
2 weeks
have the
ago?
chat. Let's have the chat. What does the chat want us to bet? They can come up with the wager.
Chad is not popping today, dude. No one is trolling me right now.
Dude, they wanted Zacharias. They got
it's probably because you've yawned 8 times already. Let's see. I can't find. We'll have to find what our bet was, but yep, I can't find it. Anyways, let's talk about quarterbacks, and you've got a lot of different options and some lower price options. Guys, Tyrod Taylor, Mike Vick, even in that Monday night game that can use his legs, and then your boy Mike. I heard you're all in on Colin Kaepernick this week.
I'm not all in on Colin Kaepernick, but I've backed
You
off a
were
little bit.
you were all in before
Is this a
Drew
real thing?
smacked some. Yeah. Oh, Drew had to smack some sense into
I'm
him.
not all in. I said, like, if you wanted to go cheap at quarterback on DraftKings, you could use him. I still think you could use him. This wasn't like a Davis, I'm all in on Deion Lewis in 20% of my lineups. Like,
I would never do that, dude. I would never say all in and then actually not go all in.
okay. I mean, I watched a clip that says otherwise a few weeks ago, but that's fine. Neither here nor there. Dude, Kaepernick has run for at least 40 yards in every single game. He's going 2x no matter what on DK. So if you go 2x and you get lucky, you could get 4 or 5x. I don't think that's awful. It's not optimal.
Rivers is the cheap QB play.
I'm with you. I have Rivers as like our primary value play this week. I'm just saying if you wanted to, you could play Cutler too.
If Alshon is active, Cutler.
I mean, the Chiefs have given up the most fantasy points to quarterbacks. I know that the raw stats sometimes aren't great, but even adjusted, it's pretty high up there.
And I mean, honestly, if you're going cheap at quarterback, you mentioned Philip Rivers at 6,200, but like you just talked about Tyrod Taylor. If they don't have very many passing options and they have no running backs, I think that they have to rush him a little bit. This might be the game that he gets some rushing yards. So he'd be on the board. But if you're talking Kaepernick versus Vick, who would you take?
Kaepernick.
Vick.
I'd take Vick as well.
Oh my god. Okay, let's
Kaepernick has been unspeakably bad.
Yeah, he's still averaging 15 DK points a game. But
I don't want to.
He sucks. He's going 2x, and then if you get lucky and he has 2 touchdowns, you're going at least 3x.
Mike, we didn't bring you on for you to defend Kaepernick for 10 minutes. Just admit that you're wrong.
All right, Colin Kaepernick sucks.
You wouldn't really consider using him in cash instead of Rivers, would you?
Yeah.
Now he would.
I mean, I'm going to have like at least 50%, but I do multiple lineups. You're like stubborn and you just do one lineup every week no matter what. Like I do multiple lineups.
I do too.
But I might have like 4.
Yes.
So I could see
it's either one. Davis only does 1 terrible lineup or 2 mediocre lineups.
But like, I mean, I'll have 4 or 5 lineups, and they'll be pretty correlated. It's not like I'm just taking random guys, but I could see going like 1 out of 4 with Kaepernick. I don't think it's better for tournaments. It probably should only happen in tournaments. I just say that I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. I mean, he's going to rush for 40 plus yards at 5K.
I love it. I love when we get you on a player. It's the same thing with JJ. We just corner you with a play. So Kaepernick is going to be the play for you this week. But the thing about Rivers is that he is like they're just not. They don't want to run the ball at all. And now he has Antonio Gates, which even if you think Gates is like an old man, he still catches touchdown passes. Like he's still I think that it's going to be fine as far as their passing offense. And Keenan Allen is another option. We'll talk about wide receivers in a second. As far though as
where are you at on Brady, Leone?
He's our top quarterback of the week. I think he's really good. I think he's the guy if you're spending up. I'm with Kitchen on Rivers. I just think the way roster construction works this week, you can't pay all the way up for a quarterback. And if you're not going to, like, Rivers is in that perfect middle ground where he's really high floor, safe guy, but he's going to cost a lot less than Brady and company. But I think they they pass like the whole first half until they're up by a ton. And if you look at their pace statistics on Football Outsiders, even when they have a lead, they run at a pretty high pace. The only time they did it was when they were ridiculously up against the Jaguars. Like they keep the pedal to the metal, and Dallas hasn't been able to control the ball with the injuries that they've had.
We need Davis to read the mind of Bill Belichick for this week to figure out what he's going to
Yeah,
do.
dude, my Dion Lewis read was really bad. They actually, instead of extending his contract like they did today, actually they just told him he was going to get cut if he didn't have a 300-yard, 4-touchdown game.
Yeah,
Oh wait, no, they gave him a contract extension. That's funny.
You were
That's
on it.
funny.
You were right. I was afraid of Belichick, and you weren't. You read the tea leaves correctly. You were right on Dion.
I want Kitchen to say it.
He
Not
was
you.
not right.
Oh my.
He was not right on Dion because his take was that there's no way. Hold on.
No, I'm not doing this with Kitchen, dude. He gets so tilted when I'm right. It's unbelievable.
Oh my God.
There's no way, guys, that LeGarrette Blount, who is fat and slow, plays in this game. Why would Bill Belichick put LeGarrette Blount in this game when their offense has been so good? Swag.
Yeah, and he didn't come in until the second half, dude. He played like Dion Lewis sat when Gronk did.
Right? So that was good because Lewis outscored him by a lot, didn't he? Oh no,
I
no,
just
sorry.
I don't even want to deal with you.
No, I mixed up. Blood scored 3 touchdowns. Sorry, my bad.
All right. Anyways, okay. The reason why I don't think you can play Brady this week is because of his skill position players and how high priced they are. You've got Julio Jones and Odell Beckham both in really good spots, but they cost an arm and a leg. Then you got those two running backs we just talked about with Bell and Charles, and then you have Gronk. So like, I don't think that you have to pay up for quarterback this week. But whatever.
No, I think if you do, it's Brady. I'll probably have like 20% Brady because I think he could go nuts. But like I said, I'm going to be at least 50% on Rivers. I think he's perfect mid-tier for the exact same reasons you're saying.
Okay. Any other quarterbacks that we failed to mention, Davis?
Like Bortles.
Cutler, I only talked about Cutler. No. I got nobody.
You want to have
else.
a Blake Bortles take? You want to have a Blake Bortles take?
I like Noodle Arm a little bit.
No. Okay. Well, we're moving on.
We're
moving on to running. We're moving on to
I
running.
think Noodle Arm's little brother could have a 30-point week. I think.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I just think that Rivers, Eli, and one of those smaller price quarterbacks would be the way that I am going. All right, running backs. All the Bell, all the Charles. If you had to pick one, Davis, who is it?
Le'Veon, just because he has the safest touch floor week to week.
I would also.
Mike, do you agree?
Yes. But I'm kind of terrified because I don't think I'm going to have a lot of exposure to either of those two guys in cash games.
Why? Why would you not have exposure to either of those two guys?
Because he has to get in his Kaepernick Bolden stacks.
I'm really paying up a wide receiver. And then with Gronk, like wide receiver and Gronk, I'm just prioritizing first.
Yeah. I don't think you're wrong.
I don't mind Gurley if Coleman is out again. Freeman is just a volume whore. He's amazing. Like even if he sucks skill wise, in that offense with the way the offensive line's actually blocking this year, it's tough to fade Freeman. Even I know it's a tough matchup from a run defense perspective, but it's the third highest total game. He's getting every single running back touch when the game's close. He could have a terrible game and have 5 touches, 80 yards, and a touchdown.
I would like to read a comment from the chat. This is going well. Oh,
Don't.
he's going to play Kaepernick and completely play Le'Veon Bell and Jamal Charles. What can possibly go wrong in this scenario? I would agree. Like, Mike,
Well, if I'm playing Kaepernick, that would be a lineup where I'm going to get some Bell and Charles exposure.
well, I would hope so.
If I was in like
But if
had like one primary lineup, I probably wouldn't have like on FanDuel. It's really hard to play those guys. Like
Yeah, it is.
it's really hard if you're playing Gronkowski and a top receiver. How are you playing one of those two? Like what are you doing on FanDuel then?
Willie Dynamite, bro.
Legitimate question. Even if you're using him.
I don't know. I haven't constructed much on FanDuel yet, but I know I'm prioritizing Gronk over everybody.
If you're prioritizing Gronk over everything, it's going to be hard for you to play Bell or Charles on FanDuel.
I'm
If you're
also I'm
paying.
also I'm also cool with Gurley and Dion though. Like that doesn't
Yeah,
bother
so
me.
am I. I'm cool with Gurley. I'm cool with Dion. I'm cool with Devonta. And we'll see what the Bills situation turns out to be.
I want Tevin Coleman to be active so bad because I can't handle like fading Freeman again and watching him go for 40 DraftKings points again.
Well, you shouldn't. And I also like, I mean, call me crazy, but I don't mind Matt Forte at $800 and $1,500 cheaper than Charles and Bell on DK. Like, they're going to be behind. He's going to get so many garbage dump offs.
again, and I agree with that, but like the fact that you're not paying up for running back, I don't know. I'm just concerned for you. You know I love you.
I mean,
But let's
I would
talk
like
about Gurley though.
Okay, let's talk about Gurley.
Let's talk about Gurley. He's in the 6,700 price range. You've got Gurley or Dion Lewis at 6,900 on FanDuel. Where are you going to go?
Dion.
Gurley. On the half PPR side, I'm going to go Gurley.
And I'm not gonna tell you you're wrong. It's just there's a ton of risk with Gurley because like they could just lose 30-0.
Yeah.
I'm
concerned.
I also think that. Go ahead. I think we have a little bit of a lag going on, and that's why we keep cutting each other off. But I also think that Danny Woodhead is potentially in play at 6K. Like if you're going cheap at running back, because the way that game script's going to go at 6K on FanDuel, he could definitely be in there. So
Yeah.
I don't know, that constructed lineup that we're going to be doing tomorrow will be interesting.
My thought on Gurley is just you're getting elite talent at a huge discount, and for me that mitigates the game script risk, especially against a team that's really not that good at stopping the run. And Jeff Fisher's a
really
moron.
bad. They're second
Like,
worst.
he's going to keep running the ball for the whole first half, no matter what the score is. And if you look what he did last week, I know it was just one game, one half last week, but that was really impressive on the road against a really good Cardinals defense in obvious run situations. And he ripped off 3 20-plus yard runs at like 6+ yards, 7 yards per carry.
Yeah, he was good. TJ Hernandez pulled up a stat that like for his career, when Fisher is a road underdog, he actually calls like 5 more rush attempts per game. Like he's like just the ultimate like please don't beat me by 20 coach. Like he wants to go into Green Bay and cover the spread. That's his goal.
Right. Dick Geron style.
Yep.
Dick Geron style.
I mean, I could see if I'm on those mid-tier guys, Freeman, if Coleman's out, and Gurley. But like at the same time, I kind of like fading both of them in tournaments for the risks we talked about. Because I think they're both going to be over-owned in a tournament setting because of recency bias, and they both have like some risk associated. Freeman a little bit less so, but there's some skill risk. He's still as amazing as he is. He's at 3.8 yards per carry, and then Gurley the game script risk. I could see fading both in tournaments, but I'm going to own those mid-level guys, Dion Lewis and those two, more than probably one of Charles and Bell.
Okay.
What do you think about Woodhead?
I'm here. I'll be here for you on Monday when you're crying and doing that thing you do. Oh, Kitchen, you know that I always had the right process. I don't know why you do this. fading Bell was a good idea. Nah.
It's just
Um,
Colin couldn't get a touchdown.
No, I'll be honest. Like, I have like my biggest weakness in NFL is I'm trying to like optimize my value almost way too much instead of just systemically saying, okay, Bell is going to get you those points, take those safe points, and figure out the rest.
yeah, and I don't even know why I'm even saying anything because on FanDuel it just seems like I've been just bad. I've been bad. Uh, I've been like good enough to like eke out a profit, but that's with Tilt entering the late contest, and it's it just seems like there's not a whole lot of room for error. So when you play Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb last week, then it, it just was not good. And Julio Jones, Greg Olson last week in 50% of my cash games on FanDuel.
So
Disaster. So anyways, we all make mistakes, Michael. That's why I'm saying it's okay that you're going to make one this week.
The
if you
Packers
play, if
suck.
you start with like Rivers, Demarius, Gronk, let's just say you start with Rivers, Demarius, Gronkowski, and then I don't know, an average of like 4,700 at kicker and D. That leaves you with an average of 6,500 for two running backs and two receivers. Like that's really hard to get up. Unless you've got a punk guy like Boobie Dixon, then I might change my mind. But it's really hard to get up there. Or if you're like willing to play Marlon Brown or something.
I don't think you have to play Marlon Brown at all. I don't think. I think you can construct a well balanced lineup, but if you play Philip Rivers at the quarterback position, you play one cheap running back, then it opens up roster construction for an expensive wide receiver and some decent wide receivers also.
But you're still
So
then if you take one expensive receiver, you're still choosing between Bell and or Charles and Gronkowski. You can't have all three. You can't have expensive tight end, expensive receiver, and expensive running back. You just
Yeah,
can't do
you have
it.
to choose.
Like
right, and
it's just
what I'm saying is that I'm okay
what
with getting my safe production from running back and and choosing wide receivers that are not Julio Jones that are in a much better spot, that are in a good spot, that are could still
like
have like Keenan Allen.
like you could pound the J Matt, Allen Robinson type guys. But I
Uh,
mean,
y-
I want you to build a lineup
yeah,
right now. I think it's harder than you're making it seem to be. Or maybe I'm just missing something. Well,
like you
let's
just look at Julio. Julio is 9,200. Demarius 8,600. You've got what's Odell Beckham 9,000. Like that's a really high price to pay for those wide receivers. And you saw that it's not exactly guaranteed production last week with Randall Cobb and Julio Jones being the two lowest owned guys. I mean, it's always fun to talk about lineup construction, but we have to get on to wide receivers, and and hopefully, Mike, you'll get some sense knocked into your head
No,
by the end of the
Kitchen,
show.
dude, you're. I think I'm pretty sure I'm playing with lineups right now, and you're the one who's wrong. I'm pretty sure.
it's hard. I'm just
Uh,
saying it's hard. Talk about receivers. We can and then we can circle back. So
all
who
right,
are
let's
your
talk about
top?
receivers. I think
I
that
got
Keenan Allen has to be. Go ahead.
I got ODB #1.
Oh my God, I'm always on an ODB fade. I feel like.
But I mean,
Like I said,
Demarius will be the guy I end up with the most in cash, just because there's a significant discount.
I've got
Yeah.
Julio, then Demarius, then ODB.
Why do you hate ODB so much? I mean, didn't you see that catch he made against the Cowboys on national TV, bro? They put his jersey in the Hall
Yeah.
of Fame, bro.
I mean, what has he done so far this year that
Just
he's
getting all the
averaging 13
targets.
a game?
He just
He's
has all
got
the
one goal,
targets.
20 points. Yeah.
So if you had to choose, if if you had to choose one, Davis, you're going ODB and you're going Julio, Mike.
I mean, the one I'll have the most of the three is Demarius.
Yeah, same. It's just a better price,
I
and the
think
matchup is elite.
I think the Oakland pass defense is so bad that this could be kind of like I'll play a little narrative street here. I think it could be like a get well game for the passing game because they actually have a matchup where they can do it with noodle arm. Their corners are terrible. If you look at the number fire metrics, they're like dead last against the pass, and it's not even remotely close. And if you look at like opposing teams' play calling, there's been a lot of pass attempts called against the Raiders. Denver throws a ton. They throw a ton in the red zone. The problem is they just haven't got into the red zone this year. Um, Demarius led the league in red zone targets last year. Like I really like Demarius, but again, maybe I'm just trying to get too cute and trying to be too perfect.
Yeah, you are.
No,
I don't think you have to. I don't know why you would trust Peyton Manning like at this point.
because Demarius is
There's
third in
no.
the NFL with targets and is getting 12.5 per game.
It's volume against a
Okay.
really bad defense. So if Peyton Manning sucks, like he's still gonna throw a ton, and he's gonna throw a ton to Demarius Thomas against really bad defenders.
What's to say that they don't really emphasize the run game here? I mean, as far as,
Because Oakland has a good run defense, they're top 10 in rushing DVOA.
but if you say like you're going to beat Oakland, like they're favored over Oakland, what's to say that they don't work on their, uh,
I'm not
they
saying
don't
it's
get
gonna
out to an early lead? I
if
just
that's
don't
ever
think they're going to put.
before.
Yeah, it's never stopped them before, but they've never had this offensive line before. So
That's
if
not
like
fun.
if they get out to a terrible, or if they get out to a good start, I just don't think that. Okay, okay, fair enough. You guys like Damaris. I say he's not worth the risk. I'd rather pay up or
What possible risk is there with a guy who's third in the NFL in targets? Like what is the possible
He's
risk?
30 targets against the worst pass defense in the league. The risk can't be like that high.
why would you not pay $400 more for Odell Beckham? That would be my question.
DT has been getting more
Uh,
targets than Beckham.
okay, these targets. You realize that like Peyton Manning cannot
Are
lead.
you gonna cape up for Eli right now?
All I know is that Eli can throw farther. If you look at all these Demarius catches, he's coming back to the ball. Like he is, Peyton cannot
I don't.
lead him
Like I
as he's
said,
rolling.
it doesn't matter, dude. Peyton is like it doesn't like Demarius in this matchup would be a top 5 option with Hoyer or Mala as his quarterback. Like it doesn't matter.
I think
Okay,
that's kind of where
I,
I'm at. If Peyton sucks, it's still a good matchup. If for some reason he has a good game, an old Peyton game, then you've got like a huge profit.
Yeah.
okay. If Peyton discovers the
Amazing.
fountain of youth,
No,
yeah, I just don't. I don't
you're
think.
being such a donkey. It's like this is a really bad. You're like you've backed yourself into a donkey take corner and you don't know how to work out of it.
No, no, it's not because Demarius's price has not come down at all. He's still
Because he's been
8,600.
Because he's been good.
Well, if you look like on DK especially, there's a pretty significant gap.
Yep.
On
$1,300
FanDuel,
difference.
on FanDuel, I'll probably hedge myself a little and maybe like go up to Odell just so I don't. If I'm not, I'm still going to hear you, but at least I'll feel better if he goes off, and I have to listen to you.
Okay.
I mean, they're only
All
400
right.
difference on FanDuel. I get it. Whatever. You could get that savings from a mid kicker or whatever, depending on where you land. But on DK, that like every dollar really counts on DK. Just the way their pricing works. I don't know. It's weird.
Colin Kaepernick, bro. All right. Other wide receivers that we like that are not in that top three.
Keenan
I
Allen.
like Keenan. I'm kind of mad at Keenan. I like Jordan Matthews. I think Kamar Aiken's fine for a cheap guy.
Willie Dynamite.
As I'm building rosters, I didn't write him up. I had him as kind of like a secondary notes guy, but I find myself a lot of Allen Robinson. Like looking at his
Yeah.
game log, the 2 games he didn't do that well. It was against Norman and Vontae Davis, and he still got a ton of targets against Vontae Davis. So I really like Allen Robinson. The more I'm building lineups, I think it's like a decent floor with really high upside, and he just
Yeah.
seems to fit everything I'm trying to do.
Same. Samesies. He's Allen
Davis,
Robinson.
anybody else?
Allen Robinson is an automatic absolute this week. Exclusive, bro. Willie Snead, dude. Willie Dynamite. He's like legit the nuts on DraftKings. If you want to lock in 12
Yeah, man.
DraftKings points, if you want to lock in 12 DraftKings points, that's your guy.
I mean, you're not concerned with how much they like. Even though he's been getting more looks, he still only had 14% of the targets. And I know at 3K that's good against Philly, but you're not concerned at all with
That's
how much they spread it
that's
around.
counting in the first 2 games where Coleman was still playing, but Coleman
No, that
doesn't
was
play at
last
all
week,
now.
14% of the targets.
What's up?
That was last week. That was last week. That's not the season total. That was
I
last
mean,
week.
yeah, they're still gonna throw to their running backs a lot, but
I mean, I like him. I just like not as bullish in cash games as you are.
I
Maybe
I
I'm.
like especially
What do you think
because
about him
Dixon.
versus Kamar Aiken? Versus
Well,
Kamar Aiken?
yeah, I'll take Snead over Kamar Aiken for sure.
Pitcher.
He's against Maxwell, dude.
All right. You have these Green Bay wide receivers. Davis, you were all in and
Yeah,
said
that
that
went
if you did
well.
not play,
That
you
went
said,
well.
I think the exact quote was, if you did not play Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb, you were a donkey and you were going to lose. Like, you told Dave Lochran that he was a donkey because he wanted to not play Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I still think that like anyone who didn't play Rodgers last week in like a good plurality of their lineups was probably a little bit of a decision-making donkey. The results ended up working out really nice for them, but yeah, like just for example, if Rodgers doesn't step out on the 2 on that touchdown run, or there are just a lot of different things, but yeah, Rodgers was like the move last week. Not
So
you don't have to this
I
week.
was I was away for a wedding, so I wasn't like super on key last week while the games were going on. What happened in that game? Like, is there any concerns that the San Francisco defense might not be quite as terrible as
No,
we
it
They
thought?
was
were
just
good week one. They were good last week.
That's what
they
I'm
weren't
saying.
good.
Like they've had a couple bad weeks and they've had a couple good weeks. Like maybe they're not awful.
It was just a gross game. It was just one of those teams traveling west. Just kind of gross. The Packers got up double-digit points and didn't push the tempo.
They always push the tempo though.
Not on the road, not always. Like, and there's no threat from the San Francisco offense right now. Like, Colin Kaepernick could have had 10 drives to equal up that score, and he wouldn't have done it.
Fair
So
enough.
I don't know. It definitely was not a good performance from Rodgers. Like there were a couple things like on third down he took a delay of game penalty instead of getting the timeout in, and they let Eddie Lacy run on third and short and he didn't get it a couple times. Like just like stuff like that. It just the little things that can hamstring any drive and just leads to a weird game script.
Mhm. So where are you on your boy Jordan Matthews this week? I know Mike Clay wrote up that he loves him against Browner, who's been the dead last ranked Pro Football Focus cornerback in
I
pass
mean
coverage
Browner.
grade.
So this is my thinking is Browner doesn't go into the slot that much. It's been like
Well,
20% this year, but
they're saying but Keenan Lewis is back, so they're saying that'll force him on to Matthews in the slot because that rookie
I mean
played good on the outside.
TBH, Browner is not a super good matchup for J-Matt. Like, I know Browner's been awful, but Browner is like he's like a good matchup physically for Jordan Matthews. He's like the type of guy who can like hang, like, because the reason Matthews is always open is because teams try and cover him with like 5'8" guys, and that's just like, it's never going to work. So J-Matt's always open. But if it's a guy with like similar size and speed, I don't know.
So
I mean,
your boy
Browner's awful.
Matt can't get open against the dead last pass coverage cornerback, is what you're saying.
No. He's gonna be
That's
open,
what
but I'm talking just in terms of like pure like legit physicality. I don't know if it's the best. Like I'm liking much more against someone like Tyler Patman. And no, we're not talking about J-Matt's Butterfingers. By PFF, he has 3 drops. I'm not doing this with you, chat. I'm not getting into this.
a guy I like is a pivot to
All right.
Matthews, which I hate myself for liking, but he was popping in my spreadsheet was Macklin with how many
No,
targets he's been
dude,
getting.
don't even hate Macklin this week. Macklin is great this week. And I don't even like Macklin or the Chiefs or Alex Smith, but I can't deny the
I know
targets, dude.
that's like how I feel. I'm like looking for ways out of it, but he keeps popping, especially against a pretty crappy defense.
Against a really bad defense. Yeah.
All right. Wide receivers under the radar. You guys mentioned Kamar Aiken. I want to know also about James Jones. Like, how do you guys feel about him? He's still kind of cheap, especially like on FanDuel, 6,400. And let's see, he was limited in practice yesterday. I haven't seen anything today. Trying to find something, but he's just getting all the targets from A-Rod. Like, I just think that he's a good wide receiver 3 in your lineups. Like, he's safe for cash. He should have got the bonus last week.
I think there are better options this week.
Yeah, I mean, he's someone I didn't have in the content, but you're making me rethink it a little bit. I've had this bias against James Jones, so I think I've missed the boat on that a little bit for a few weeks. Just had
Okay, you have A-Rob and Pierre Garcon in the same range. Who would you take among those 3?
A-Rob.
A-Rob. But then it's tough if I had to pick between. Like if you're going 2 in that range, it's kind of tough. I guess I like Kamar Aiken, but he's probably better on DK than on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think that's why. I guess it's why it's been a little easier for me to fit in some of those players we talked about earlier. All right, we have tight end position, and Davis is going to kill me, but I don't think Gronk is a lock on FanDuel or DraftKings this week.
Makes sense.
Like, because of price. Because of price. He's
averaging
like
the 3rd most fantasy points of all position players. Probably not a lock. Probably not a lock though.
I mean, I feel like the markets in cash games is always so much lower on him than they should be that I feel okay like splitting him.
I just like
you're giving
anything we say about not playing Gronkowski is just going to be picked apart by Davis, like giving stats for Gronkowski, which is fine.
It's always a donkey move. It's just like always donkey to fade him. Like, and everyone this year thinks they can get away with it because the 1 week that Gronk didn't score a touchdown, Greg Olsen went off for 34 points. Like, yeah, okay, good. If you think Derek Carrier is going to score 34 points, you can go ahead and fade Gronk.
I like Derek Carrier.
Yeah, I like Derek Carrier. I like Derek Carrier too, but like we need to be realistic, dude. And Sean Lee being back, it doesn't matter. Gronk will pick Sean Lee up with one hand and throw him over a goalpost, and I'm a Cowboys fan.
I'm just saying, like, if you're a poor soul like me who didn't squeeze Le'Veon Bell in a lineup, you know, maybe that last cash game lineup you throw Derek Carrier in so you can play Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah, that's
I don't.
That's fine.
100% Gronk, but I'll go like 50% Gronk. Probably more on DK. I found it a lot easier to play Gronk on DK because of the same issues we talked about on FanDuel.
Yeah. I mean, all of that's fair. It's like it's just Gronk is always like 15% owned in cash, and you're just like, what is happening, dude? Like, I don't ever understand it. I don't know.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Okay.
The Olsen week, I think he was only 20% owned, so a lot of people got away with it. And again, that was the week I split. I had half Olsen and half Gronkowski. I'll probably be close to half Gronk and then half punting with Carrier.
All right, so Davis, I know you like Kendall Wright.
A little bit, yeah.
Kendall Wright and Gronk, or Demaryius Thomas and Martellus Bennett.
Gronk, right?
Is Alshon out in this scenario?
Yes.
I'm going to Demaryius Martellus if Alshon's out.
Yeah, if Alshon is out, I think that's the guy that I have in my line. I don't hate the Gronk play.
Very bold of you. Very bold of you to not hate Rob Gronkowski, Kitchen.
Fair enough. Captain Obvious here.
It's not as simple as you make it seem to be, though, Davis. It's a hard decision every week. You can say it's not, but it is.
It's not. is not a hard decision. Figuring out who you,
The 1 week you mocked people for not taking Gronkowski, I played 4 cash game lineups on FanDuel. I cashed all 3 without Gronk, and I didn't cash one with Gronk. Like, a lot of things happen with roster construction. It's not as clear cut as you're making it seem.
no, but it's not. But this is all I'll say. Gronk is like legit top 5 of all position players in fantasy, and being able to use him with tight end eligibility is really nice. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's why it's difficult.
I do think that on DraftKings, the way the pricing is, I do think it's okay to play 2 tight ends, even in cash games.
Yeah,
Because of,
I might do Gronk and Carrier there. I'm gonna fool around with that.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That'd be 10K combined. And if you get 8 or 9 points out of Carrier, and you know what you're getting out of Gronk with the ceiling that Gronk has, you also allow yourself to get some of those higher price options that we talked about earlier.
Yeah, 'cause if you're doing that, hypothetically playing Gronk as a receiver, and he's $1,500 less than the top receivers.
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That if you put Gronk in your flex, then Mike, don't agree with me. And we had Jay in chat says Charles Clay and Gronk, which I wouldn't mind that either. It's just that Derek Carey is 25. He's like 500 cheaper than the lowest price Mensal play for a skill position player with running back and wide receivers.
Davis,
But
will you breakdown? Because you could probably make that case better than me.
What's up?
I mean, we've been talking about Carrier as a good option. We really haven't gone over why, and I was telling you to
Well, just
the
because
case for Carrier.
Kirk Cousins, whether it's Niles Paul or Jordan Reed, has always utilized his tight end a lot, and I think it's just because he's kind of a noodle arm. But Carrier dominated completely at Beloit College. He had a 66% dominator rating, which means that at like a kind of a low level of football, he was basically his team's entire passing offense, and he's like 95th percentile athleticism at the tight end position. He's 6'5", 245 pounds, and ran a 4.5 40. Like, he's just super good. He can play. He was on the field last week while Reed was as well, and got 2 targets as soon as Reed left the game. I don't care if Evan Silva called Carrier soft. You know who's soft? Kobe Fleener is soft. Charmin soft, bro. The worst. I just have to say how much I hate Fleener every week on this show.
And he's had good fantasy games when he gets the opportunity, so Carrier can do the same thing.
well,
People in chat-
Carrier is soft, but he's like he's not a blocking tight end. He's a pass catching tight end. They don't expect him to block, and he's a converted wide receiver.
Yep.
So
between Carrier and Reed, they've got 25% of the team's targets on the week. If you can give Carrier 75% of the tight end production so far, or of at least the target volume, that's a 19% market share. Like, that's really good for a 2,500 player. And I know people are asking about Owen Daniels. I like Owen Daniels probably more than Davis. He's been horrific. He's at 3.1 yards per target, which is beyond anemic. But as bad as that is, the outlier on the other end is what tight ends have done to Oakland is just patently absurd.
Dude, even if every snap they just decided not to like cover him at all, like if they were literally like just pay attention to everyone else who is eligible to receive a pass, no one care about what Owen Daniels is doing at all, I'm not sure if he could eclipse 100 yards. Dead serious.
Yeah, but I think he could catch some garbage TDs.
he doesn't have to he doesn't have to go for 100 yards. He just has to catch a couple touchdowns.
If he catches 2 touchdowns, I'm wrong. If he catches 1, my read is right, I think.
Okay, if you could lock in a touchdown from a minimum salary tight end, that's not bad. So I don't know if I would say
I prefer Carrier though.
I prefer Carrier too. I'm just saying I don't think your read is auto right if he catches a touchdown. I prefer Carrier. I think
he's got like a 36% chance of receiving touchdown, I think.
Oh man.
Alshon's out, my whole kind of construction for the week gets blown up because I've been making Gronk teams and carrier teams, and
Yeah.
Martellus is like super legit if Alshon's out.
I just created a lineup where the last spot was a wide receiver for 8,100 on DraftKings.
Yes, you know who that is.
I can't do it. I can't do it. This will be my donkey fade of the week. Last week, who was it? I forget who it was.
Freeman, dude.
But it was someone who ever.
Was it Freeman?
No, it wasn't. Because I had Freeman in my. I'm talking about the guy leading up to it that I told you guys. Oh, it was Melvin Gordon. That's who it was. I told you I couldn't do it. The week before was Deion Lewis. This week will be Demaryius Thomas.
All right, I guess
That
my
would be my.
Except none of us,
going
no
to be
one,
Odell.
no one recommended Melvin Gordon on this show once the lineman stuff came out. Like no one said he was a good play.
It doesn't even matter because they're so focused on the pass game. Even if they do have good offensive line,
Yeah, you're right. Like I got
it's pretty
saved.
clear.
I got saved by myself from myself, but
Right. That's what I'm saying. But everybody and their mom was on Gordon last week. At least to start. Anyways, who's your donkey fade, Leone?
I mean Odell because I'm kind of just on the exact opposite side as you. I'm playing Demaryius. You're playing Odell. So in cash games, Odell.
Dave. And Davis is gonna say, I don't have donkey takes.
I don't. Well, no, I definitely do. I mean, my donkey fade this week is Freeman. Like I'm just for the third week in a row, I'm just not gonna play him.
You're gonna have no exposure in cash if Coleman's out.
Yeah, probably
Can you tell
not.
me why?
Dude. Like, yeah, cause I'm sick and like masochistic, and like I've already lost all my money fading him 2 weeks in a row, so I might as well continue to like boost the like daily fantasy ecosystem with my money.
I mean,
Makes sense.
There's just
What's up?
It would definitely make sense.
there's just so much volume. Even if he sucks, it doesn't matter if he's still gonna have a fine game. He's not gonna hurt you almost no matter what.
Dude, he was
He
so
sucks.
bad.
But dude, he gets what about half the red zone touches, like 90% of the carries, and he's gonna catch 5 passes no matter what.
No, I know he's a good play. It's just like literally when I'm constructing lineups, like I don't even know his price on DraftKings off the top of my head because I like haven't even clicked on him. Like
6,300.
63.
yeah, dude. Like I would so much rather just load up 100% of Toto shares instead of Freeman.
Fair enough. All right, that will do it for today's show. Special thanks to Michael Leone. Mike filling in for JJ this week. Mike, you did, like, it's been cool just to see how much you've matured over the past year. So, come on, Kitchen. I knew you weren't going to get out of here without giving me the hard time.
I like legitimately searched for a Grimace Halloween costume that I was gonna surprise you with.
Oh, that was gonna be
And
amazing.
they're like, oh, they don't make them anymore.
Go figure.
That's a really a
well,
really dated reference that Kitchen made.
I'm gonna find one, and we're gonna do a show, and I'm gonna do it with it.
All right. You can catch Michael at dailyroto.com. He, Drew Dinkmeyer, and Chris Pacheco produced the Daily Fantasy Rundown. Is that what it's called, Mike?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. I forgot, like, if there was another word for it, like, for the basketball or the football stuff.
No. It's
just the rundown.
Yeah. That's it. Just the rundown.
Well, thanks to Davis Mattek for being on the show, and we'll be back tomorrow with Evan Silva, same time, 5 p.m. Eastern on Spreecast, and then tonight we'll have the college football show with Dan Strafford, with Joe DeSalvo from the college football site, and Sean Newsom.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be cool.
Very sharp fella. So that will be a good show tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you're tuning in for that. you haven't subscribed already, go to fantasyinsiders.com and get your subscription today. And guys, good luck tonight. We'll see you later.